Alright, welcome to the channel and to the Speedy Space Marine Series. Today we're going to be looking at the Sons of Nocturne, Vulcan's own Salamanders. A legion known for their mastery of the forge and fire, and for being the friendliest marines. All of the paints you'll need will be listed below in the description, so let's get into it. Okay, starting from a base of black primer, we're going to come in with some Riff green, and we're essentially going to overbrush the model with this. So this is just slapping down the color, getting it over all of those plates and ensuring we have even coverage across the model. So I'm using quite a large brush here. We've got our Series D medium from Artist Opus to ensure we get this done quite quickly. But you can see I'm not removing any of the excess paint onto the dry palette. It is not dry brushing, we're just overbrushing, slapping the paint on. You could use a different brush for it, but it's just quicker with a larger brush. We're now going to take a mix of Greenskin flesh and Riff green and start to highlight up the armour. So we're going to be using soft circular motions or directional strokes initially to start establishing where the light is interacting with the armour. So we're assuming the light's coming straight down onto the model from above. So we're going to hit the top of the shoulders, top of the backpack, top of the head, outside of each leg, top of the arms, and wherever else the hobby light is hitting. We're then going to come in with some Greenskin flesh and repeat the highlighting process. This time I'm applying less pressure, holding my brush further back from the ferrule so I get softer transitions in the colours as we gradually move up in value and saturation. Again, we're focusing on all of those same light lines that we created with the Riff green and Greenskin flesh mix, outside the legs, top of the shoulders, top of the arms, so on and so forth. Then grabbing our extra small Series D here, and we are just adding in some battle damage, chipping, and essentially some edge highlighting to each of the armor panels across the model. So we're using this just to create some chips and scratches just by stippling it onto the model in various places, just to bring extra attention to some of the edges and create more separation within the armor panels. Then grab yourself some exhaust manifold or another very dark metallic color, and we're going to apply this all over the silver sections, so anywhere on the bolter, any emblems or things like that. And then over the backpack, the buckle on the chest, and just anywhere else that you want to be silver. You don't need to worry about being too careful whenever it comes to the bolter, because we're going to be coming back in with some Abaddon black and coating the gun casing. In all of the other areas, try to avoid hitting any of the armor panels or any of those components where you might, need to go back and touch them up after. So once you've finished the metallics and they're in the process of drying, grab yourself some Abaddon black and apply this into the rubberized sections of the armor. Grab any tubing as well while you're going through this process. Just helps to keep everything nice and uniform, keeps the scheme nice and simple. But it's only take one pass here of Abaddon black depending on how much you thin it. But just take your time. Again, try to avoid hitting any of the green armor whenever you're doing this. I'm using a size 2 medium from Artist Opus here, but if you need to use a smaller brush to hit these sections, by all means. So we're also going to use it to paint the shoulder pad with the rivets on it. It may take 2 or 3 passes here to ensure you get even coverage, but just make sure none of that green dry brushing is still visible. When it comes to the gun casing, try not to hit any of those silver areas that you just painted, but if you need to come back in with some exhaust manifold and touch them up, that's all good. Now grab yourself some brass scorpion and paint those emblems and the rivets on the shoulder. This just adds a wee bit of extra detail and makes your scheme that wee bit more interesting. So whenever I'm painting the rivets, I like to sort of, dot on the top and then paint around the sides to ensure I get a nice even coat all over. Try not to get any of it on the black armor, but if you do, just go in and touch it up. So I've taken some Abaddon black, thinned it down with some water, and we're just using this to shade all of the metallic sections. You can use Nuln Oil or your preferred black wash for this. I just find using Abaddon black to be quite easy because it's already on the palette, and it means it doesn't change the finish of any of the black sections if I manage to get it over the top of those. But just slap this on, try not to get it over any of the green sections, and you're all good. Grabbing some Mournfang brown, we're thinning this down again with some water, and we're going to apply this into the rubberized sections of the model. This acts as some dirt, grime, debris that's built up over the course of the battle, and we're also going to apply it over some of the silver sections to give that impression of grime, rust, oil, anything that would accrue over the course of the battle. Just helps to add a wee bit more dimension to your model, and these warmer tones help to complement with that green armour. Now to paint in the eyes, we're going to use the natural complement to green, so we're going to grab some Khorne red and lay down the foundation over the lenses and over that wee sensor on the top of the head. Ensure you get a nice even saturated coat here. Grab yourself some Evil Sunz Scarlet, and now we're just going to highlight that sensor on the top and then the inner corner and lower edge of each lens. I'm still using a size 2 here, but if you want to grab a 0 or a 00 for doing this, by all means. Then taking a bit of golden yellow, I'll drop the equivalent in the description below, just add a highlight to the inner corner of each lens to give you that nice orange look. Taking a bit of titanium white or your preferred white paint, thin that down so you can do some nice dots on your fingernail, and then apply a dot to the rear corner of each lens to act as the glint. And with that, your salamander is pretty much done. We just gotta pop them together and get a wee look. So I went with a slightly darker tone to my salamanders just because I think it looks more grim dark and looks more 30k. Let's pop them on the base and see how it looks. If you want to see how I make these bases, there's a link up in the top corner if you want to check that out. But let's get them on the spinning thing and get a proper look. So I think the salamander scheme looks really nice. Very cool legion in the lore. Big fan of flamers, big fan of the forge, but also Vulcan lives. I think this scheme turned out really well. There's a lot of nice contrast between those deep shadows, those bright highlights, and that weathering and chipping. Obviously the natural complement of the green and the red works super well together, along with those sections of brass in the armour. I can't wait to see your salamanders on the tabletop, and if you enjoyed the process, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hopefully you found that useful. If you have any comments, questions or suggestions for future videos, please drop them below in the comments. And if you want to take your painting to the next level, I have a Patreon that's focused around feedback and coaching. You also get access to exclusive guides and content. If you want to show me what you've been working on or what you've been using these videos for, please head over to the Discord and drop some pics into the whips or the completed projects. I would love to see what you've been doing. Just want to say thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you at the next one. All links can be found below in the description.